Hey Bookish Babes, and welcome to my book nook. Those that are new around here, my name's Rainy. I teach elementary music and middle school theater, and I also read a lot of books. Thriller, horror, sci-fi, fantasy, romance, nonfiction, not historical fiction as much. But if you're interested in that, please like and subscribe to my channel down below. It really helps my channel grow. In today's video, I thought it would be fun. I actually saw, I believe, Bookish Roast do this video like a couple months back. And I forgot about it until the other day when I was looking at my series spreadsheet. I figured it'd be fun to go through my series spreadsheet and see what series I currently have. Now, in order for them to be on the spreadsheet, I have to have a book in the series. Unless it is a series that that another series directly relates to, and I know that I'm going to read that series. But for the most part, I have to own one of the books in the series, and I have to not have started them, but I have to at least own them. And so I'm going to see how many series I'm starting with on this spreadsheet, and it's a lot, and how many I've read and how many I haven't. And the goal is that we're going to try and DNF some of the ones that are on the list so that I don't have as many series that I'm either in the middle of or haven't started yet but own books of, because I am notorious at buying books in series when I haven't read them all. And I don't know if I'm going to like them all. Like I almost did with Daughter of the Moon Goddess, and I'm so glad that I didn't, because I hated the first book. I DNF'd it. That would have been a tragic day. All right, so let's get started, and I'm going to take you over to where I was on my spreadsheet, and you can see what series I'm in the middle of. Okay, friends, so we are just going to go through the series tracker, and we're going to see where I'm at with certain series. And my goal is hopefully to be able to take a few of these off of the list. Ones that I have either decided I'm no longer interested in, or ones that I haven't started. And we're also going to talk about some data, because that's always fun. As of right now, I have 120 series on this document. That is a lot. And I have completed 4. That is a measly 3%. I have read 59 of the books on here, and I have unread 485 of them. So I've read 11%. I have owned 225 of the books from these series. I don't own 319 of them, so I only own 59% of them. Or I don't own 59% of them. And then the total titles in my whole entire collection is 544, and apparently I've completed 1 series in 2023. That is very sad. Alright, so the tracker that I'm using is actually from Paperback Hoarder, I believe, so I will link to her spreadsheet under here, but I absolutely love this spreadsheet. But basically we broke it down into sagas, which are books that have more than 3 books, trilogies, duologies, graphic novels, mangas, and then unfinished/other, which are ones that I'm kind of not sure if I'm 100% interested in, but they're on this list in case. We are just going to start right along with where we're at in sagas. So we have the Brutal Birthright series by Sophie Lark, which includes all 6 of these books. I do own all of them, and I have signed editions of all of them, and I am loving this series. I'm going to finish it this year, so that is a series that we are going to keep on this list. And then we have Harry Potter. That's one of the series that I've finished. Are you surprised? I'm not. Then we have the Crave series by Tracy Wolff, and I've started collecting those, and I wanted to do a Twilight versus Crave face-off, because the covers are so freaking similar, and so I'm going to keep that on here. Have I read any of them yet? No. But that's for another day. Then we have ACOTAR, which I don't have A Court of Silver Flames. And then she said that there's going to be 2 more in the series, at least. That's what it says on Goodreads, so that's why I put it here. Are we going to be ashamed that I've only read the first one? No, I know. It's really bad. I've only read the first one. I need to continue. And I will. And then Throne of Glass, I'm currently reading right now with Bestie's Book Club. We are currently reading Crown of Midnight, so I'm not worried about that series. I know I'm going to get back to it. It's not an issue. Then we have the Mortal Instrument series by Cassandra Clare, and I am actually collecting these, her entire collection for these, because I want to read them. I want to do a giant read through of all of them, and I've actually read the first 3 books in high school and really enjoyed them, which I don't know why I didn't put that I've already read those. I have. So I think I'm going to keep that on here. And then we have Stalking Jack the Ripper, which I have collected all of them except for apparently there's some story now in between the 3rd and the 4th. Do I know if I'm going to like these? No. I don't. Which this alone has inspired me to maybe do a spin-off of this video where I take a couple of the ones that I was unsure about DNFing and read the first book and see if it's actually for me. Because I have a notorious habit of collecting books and not actually reading them. Or collecting the whole series before I know if I'm going to like the series or not. That's really like a toxic trait of mine. Then we have Twilight. I've read all except for the Life and Death one, which is literally them, like a fan fiction with Bella being a boy, like Beaufort or something, and Edith. I have not read that. I own it. I haven't read Midnight Sun yet, and I haven't read The Short Second Life of Bree Tanner. But I'm really close, y'all. Really close. Then we have the Folk of the Air series, which is The Cruel Prince. And I have all those, and I have not read any of those. But my sister let me borrow them, and I just haven't gotten to them yet. So I'm not going to DNF this series. I know, I feel like I'm just telling you all the series I own, and I'm not going to end up DNFing any of them. I'm going to try my best, guys. I'm going to try my best. The Lunar Chronicles. Now, this is one that I could very much be okay with DNFing, because I just feel like it is not my season for this. But my mom says this is one of her favorite series ever, and so I think this is going to be one of the books in that video series that I do where I read the first book and see if it's for me or not. And if not, I can say goodbye to these, because I just don't know. I don't know if they're going to be for me. I just don't. Then we have the Raven Cycle. That is another one that I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to love. I only bought it because Books and Lala swears by it, and I want to give it a try for a video. Although I don't know why I trust her for everything, because sometimes I don't agree with the books that she loves. Then we have the Wayward Children series, which is literally going on and on and on forever. And I read the first book, loved it. It was 5 stars. I want to collect the rest of them, so I'm not going to DNF this series. Although I do not have a prioritizing system for this series, and I feel like I should. I feel like I should start prioritizing them before more and more and more come out, and I get more and more and more behind. But we'll see about that. Then we have Grant County by Karen Slaughter, and I think I'm going to DNF that one, along with Will Trent, because I love thrillers. I do. I love thrillers, but I have started becoming more of a fantasy and romance reader, and I just don't know if I want to read a bunch of true crime mystery thrillers, even though I love good old Karen Slaughter. So I think I'm okay with DNFing, because I only have random sporadic ones throughout this anyway. So I think we're going to get those 2 off of the list. But in order to do that right now, I would have to like drag and drop and all of these things. So I'm just going to personally make a note of it that I'm getting rid of 2 of those series. Okay, then we have the Books of Babel, which includes all of these. And I own the first book, and I only picked it up actually because of Peru's Project. So Reagan from Peru's Project. And she's a very big fantasy reader, but like more on the fantasy side, not the romance side. So I don't know if I'm actually going to like these or not. But I think I'm going to add this into that vlog as well. Like, read the first book and see if it's for me. Because I only have the first book. So if I don't like it, I just don't buy the rest, you know? Then we have the Truly Devious series. I have all of them except for the newest one that is out. And I do want to read this. I think I'm actually doing a buddy read of this series with my friend Brittany at the end of the year. So, like, I am going to read this. And I did start reading it a couple years ago, and I really liked it. And then I kind of not right now'd it. And I don't really know. I think it was because it was due back at the library. So I need to, like, recommit. Then we have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I'm going to read that, okay? I know I need to read that. I have all 3 books. I just don't have the new novella, Killjoy, that has come out recently. I'm not DNFing that, so let's just move right past that. Then we have the Perez family, which is, like, all of these books about, like, historical fiction books. And my friend recommended them to me. However, I know you homegirl's not going to read them. I just want to sell them in one big pack on Pango. So I think it's okay to say we're going to say goodbye to that series. Then we have the Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy. I do want to read that. I've started collecting them. I'm going to keep them on here. Same with Briar University. I think that's like either an alternate universe or kids from these ones. I don't know, but I do want to read all of these at some point, so I'm going to keep them both on the list for now. Then we have The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. Do I know if I'm going to like this series? No freaking way. Should I read the first one and then decide because I own the first and the second? Yes, I should. So am I going to take it off right now? No, I'm not. Then we have the Veronica Speedwell series, and I own the first 2, and I read the first one, and I enjoyed it. I didn't love it as much as I thought I would. Like, I thought it was going to be a 5-star, and I think it was a 3.5 or a 4. But I am intrigued and continuing with the rest of them, and maybe even rereading the first now. I just think I wasn't in the right headspace for it at the time, but I do want to collect these, so I'm going to keep on keeping on with this one. Then we have the Mind F series by S.T. Abbey. I have the 5-book bind up, and I've read the first 2, but honestly, I need to reread them again and then just read this whole series. It's not even very long, so, like, definitely not DNFing this one. Then we have the Dark Olympus series by Katie Roberts, and I've started collecting those with like no end in sight of when I'm going to read them, but I know that they're good and that she's just a good smutty queen, so like, this is so bad, y'all. How many books have I actually like not started and I own books in the series? I need to start series. And then, you know, it's the same thing. Plated Prisoner. I own the first book. However, I'm probably going to sell it because I saw the hardcovers and they are way prettier. And I want to read this series. So I'm not taking it off because I'm not. Okay? Okay. Same thing for Fable. I mean, I literally have that beautiful shelf behind me. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, where her face is like right there. It's just so pretty. Can I make myself get rid of it? No. I can't. No. Then we have the first book in the Before the Coffee Gets Cold series. I'm not getting rid of that. I have not read it. I know it's going to be cute. I mean, you can't tell me it's not going to be cute, okay? So, like, we're going to collect the whole series one day, and we're just going to skip past that. Now, the Diviners, I own the first two, actually. I don't know why it says I don't. And I started reading the Diviners for a vlog, and then I stopped. And it wasn't because I wasn't interested. It was because that vlog just didn't happen anymore. I need to pick it back up, so I'm not going to DNF that one either. Then I have the You series by Caroline Kepnes, and I have the first and the third. And, you know, I want to see if those books equate to the series. And I know they're going to be different. So I'm going to keep those on here. But again, I don't know when I'm going to read them. Then we have the Atlas 6 series. I actually am going to be reading the Atlas 6 hopefully this month because my friends just read it and I was supposed to read it with them and I didn't. And of course, I'm behind. And so I've heard it's a fabulous series. Hence, it's going to stay on my series list. Then we have the Magnolia Parks universe. That ain't going anywhere. I am loving that series. I'm going to finish that series this year. That's all I have to say on that. I also started my Zodiac Academy series, and I do actually own the second one now, so I need to put that on there. This is the order of the books that are out so far, and I do plan on reading these. I am very excited. I am living and loving for this series, even though it's very YA, but I still love it. We have the Never After series by Emily McIntyre. I read Hooked for Smutdem. Absolutely loved it. I want to get the rest of them and probably get to them before the Hunchback of Notre Dame one Crossed comes out, I think, in August. So I need to get stepping on that. Then we have the Wild series by K.A. Tucker. I read The Simple Wild this year. Absolutely loved it. I own the second one. I don't have the other ones yet, but one is a novella. But I know that I loved that series, and so I'm very happy to continue on with it. Then we have Dark Verse by Runix, and I have the first two books in that series, and I don't know. I've never read anything by her. I don't know if I'm going to love it. I'm hoping it's for me, but I'm not getting rid of it. Let me tell you that. Then we have the From Blood and Ash series, and I have the first three. I read the first one. I was doing a readathon for it this year, and of course, I got behind on it because, as everyone always does, but I definitely still want to read that entire series because I really did like where it ended off and with the cliffhanger in the first one. So I'll get to it at some point. Then we have the Thursday Murder Club. I just know that's going to be a book I'm going to enjoy. You know, I just see it and I just know it's going to be good. Have I read it? No. But I'm going to read it. Same for Salacious Players Club. I absolutely loved Praise. It was fan-freaking-tastic. I had such a good time with it. I need to get the rest of them in the series. I'm actually sad because this one is no longer available for the Hot Guy cover, so I'm going to have to find someone that's willing to sell that to me, or else I'm going to be very sad. And then I need to buy the rest of these before the Hot Guy covers go away, because I'm collecting them. Same thing for the Four Horsemen. I own Pestilence. Have I read Pestilence? No. Do I want the rest of them? Yes. Do I need to get them before the discreet covers come out? Yes. You know, it's just a whole ordeal. It just is. Then we have the Inheritance games. I don't know who that's by. S.A. Barnes, I think. And I own the first one. Honestly, do I need to read these? No. Should I just get rid of it? Yes. Am I going to DNF without reading it? Yes. There's so many other series, friends. There's so many other series. I'm just getting rid of it. Then we have Finley Donovan. There's going to be 7 books in the series. I am caught up. No, I don't own the first one, but I own the first 2. I mean, the second 2. I don't know. It's weird. I need to get the first one for sure. But I'm definitely continuing on with that series. I love Miss Finley. Now we have the first book in the Hades and Persephone series, A Touch of Darkness. I do want to read those. It's like with all of these, I want to read them. Just like The Beautiful by Renee Audier. I want to read that, okay? I own the first book. I seriously am going to start doing first book in a series vlogs and just knock out a bunch of these series so that I can get rid of them if I don't enjoy them. Then we have the first book, or the series, the Wit Sex series, which the 4th one comes out in August, and all my friends have already caught up and are like, why are you so behind? And so your homegirl needs to finish reading them. Then we have the first 2 books in the Chestnut Springs series by Miss Elsie Silver. I am going to be reading all of those. I'm so excited to read all of those. I think I'm actually going to start reading Flawless tonight or tomorrow because I'm wanting to mood read, and that's been on my mind for a hot minute. Then we have the Crowns of Nyaxia series, and I own the first 2, Serpent and Ashes. I've read the novella, though, and I want to get the Slaying the Vampire one. I love this series with, like, my whole being. It's one of my favorite series of all times right now, so, like, don't you worry. I'm gonna finish it. Then we have The Edens by Devney Perry, and I read the first book for Smut Den, and I did enjoy it. It was a good time, so I actually need to continue on with this series, too, as well. Then we have the Kingmaker series by Sophie Lark. And I know, you're wondering, Rainy, you don't own any of these. Why are you considering this as a series that you need to track? Because it is the kids from the Brutal Birthright series by Sophie Lark. And so I plan on reading them. And so it is on here so that I remember when I finish Brutal Birthright that I need to continue to Kingmakers. And I need to continue to Underworld because they are all related. And I love Miss Sophie Lark. And so those are one of the... There's only like 3 series on here that I don't own any of them yet that like... I'm going to prioritize. Like, the other one would be The War of Lost Hearts. However, that is by Carissa Broadbent as well, and we are reading the first book this month for a read-along that I'm doing, so I'm not worried about that. In fact, I'm going to actually put owned because I'm buying it today, so that is the goal. Then we have Stillhouse Lake by Rachel Kane, and I'm pretty sure she died before finishing this series, and the 6th book was half written by her and another author, and I've heard that it gets worse as it goes, and that you really should only read, like, the first 2 or 3, and so I'm probably going to do just that. Then we have Twisted by Anne Huang and Kings of Sin, and yes, that is another one that, like, I do not own any of them of, but I know for a fact that I'm going to prioritize. I've been wanting to read Twisted Love for a while, I've been wanting to read Anne Huang for a while, and so I'm going to keep both of those on here. Then we have Priest by Sierra Simone. I own Priest and Sinner, and I do own the original covers. I need to find the original cover for the 3rd one, but not at like a insanely crazy price. I do want to read those, so I'm keeping those on here. Then we have The Witches of Thistle Grove with Payback's a Witch. And you know, those look cute, and they look like they could be something I'd read for Halloween, but I just don't see myself committing to those, so we're going to get rid of those, okay? We're going to get rid of it. Then we have Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie, and I am going to read this series, like, I just plan on it. It's a series I've been wanting to read for a while, and so I'm committing to it this year. Same thing for After by Anna Todd. I feel like I just need to know what the girlies are talking about with this one, and I do randomly have the second one that I found at a thrift store for, like, $1. So, like, if I can find them for $1, why not? Then we have the Blood Grace series, which includes Blood Mercy, and honestly, that was an impulse buy because I heard a couple of my favorite booktubers talking about that book recently. Is it huge? Are they all chunky fantasy romances? Yes. Am I going to read them all? Yes. Then we have Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, and yes, I loved the first book, and yes, I'm reading the second book, and yes, she said there's going to be 7 books, so am I going to be hanging out? Yeah, I am. Then we have the Witchwalker series, which includes The Witch Collector, and I actually just bought that on my Kindle last night, and I did include series that I've started on my Kindle. I'm very excited to read this. I've heard it's a pretty good fantasy romance. Same thing for Devil's Night by Penelope Douglas. I own the first one on Kindle. I just added another library to my library card that has all of the audiobooks, so this is probably going to happen sooner than later. And then I'm in this email that, like, I get a free romance book a month, and I happen to get the first book in the Tattered and Torn series, I believe by Catherine Cowles, and I've been wanting to read by her recently, so that was kind of exciting, so I'm gonna start this series as well. Alright, time to move on to Trilogies. And to start, we have a couple of Cassandra Clare ones, so we're gonna go through these ones super quick. We have The Infernal Devices, The Last Hours, The Dark Artifices, and The Eldest Curses. And no, I don't own a lot of them, but like I said, I'm on a Cassandra Clare journey, and I already have a reading order for how I'm going to go about reading them, so these all have to get on the list at some point. And I know I can buy them for, like, really cheap on Pango. Then I have the Ravenhood Trilogy by Kate Stewart. I'm currently in the middle of reading all of those for a vlog, so that's going to get done. We have the Greenbone Saga. I need to freaking read Jade's Legacy, and I just haven't because I know it's going to hurt my soul, and I'm just not ready for that. But, like, girl, it's been a year. I need to read it. Then we have the All Souls trilogy, which is like a discovery of witches. I do want to read that. I want to read that around Halloween time, so I'm saving it for them. We have Shadow and Bone, and I just don't know if I'm going to like these or not. I know it's part of the Grishaverse, and I want to read all of Leigh Bardugo's books, but, like, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to DNF it yet, but I'm not, like, itching to pick it up. Then we have Shades of Magic by V.E. Schwab, and I own the first book, and I started the first book forever ago, and then I stopped it, and it was a not right now. But it was interesting to me, like, the different types of magic, and so I definitely am going to try to continue that sooner than later. We have the first in Adrian E. Isolde, which is the King of Battle and Blood, and I do want to read that at some point. And we have The Extraordinary Adventures of the Athena Club, which is like the strange case of the alchemist daughter, which is like that mystery with like all the daughters of like Frankenstein and Dracula and all of them. And I am very intrigued in that. I need to get the last book in the series before it goes out of print, actually. Then we have the Feminist Novellas by Ali Hazelwood. I read all of those, guys. I read all of them. Look at that. That's one of the series I've finished. Then we have The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. And I read The Kiss Quotient, and I loved it. I'm not very interested in continuing on, if we're being honest. I'm just not. And so I might not. And I think this is where our journey ends, as we DNF. Then we have The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez. I own the first 2 books in the series. I do want to read it. I want to read all of Abby Jimenez's books and see if she's, like, a romance author for me or not, because I've heard nothing but good stuff about her. And then I started the Brown Sisters trilogy. I read Get a Life, Chloe Brown. It was just okay, but everybody says to keep going. And one of my friends says that the Dani Brown one is like her favorite in the entire series ever. And so I am intrigued by that. Then we have Written in the Stars by Alexandria Bellafleur. I own the first one. I have not read it. I do want to read them, so I'm going to keep this on here for now. Then we have Caraval by Stephanie Garber. And no, I've not read any of them. I own all of them. Am I going to read them all soon? Because I want to read Once Upon a Broken Heart, and it's kind of in the same world, and I want to read these first? You bet so. Then we have the Winter Night trilogy, starting with The Bear and the Nightingale, and I've heard a lot of people swear by these by Catherine Arden, and so I'm going to continue to keep this on this list. And then we have Beartown by Frederick Bachman. You better believe I'm going to read that eventually. My friends are reading it right now, and they are getting their hearts wrecked by it, and so I need to understand what all the hype is about. Then we have the Villains trilogy by V.E. Schwab, and I have not actually read a V.E. Schwab that I enjoy yet, but I have a signed copy of Vengeful, so I might keep it just for that. Then we have the Nevernight Chronicles by Jay Kristoff, and I don't know when I plan on reading that, but I don't want to take it off the list because I really like what Nevernight looks like, and it sounds like it could be a good time. So yeah. Then we have Bright Falls. I am currently caught up in it, so I could book completed if I want, but Iris Kelly Doesn't Date comes out in November, and so when that comes out, I will hopefully read that right then, and then I can complete this series. Then we have Flesh and Fire, which is like a prequel series to like From Blood and Ash, and so I'm definitely going to read those, so those can stay on here. Then we have the Between Earth and the Sky trilogy, which includes Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. I'm actually reading that this month for a readathon that I'm doing, so I'm going to be starting this series after all. Then we have the Souls trilogy by Harley LaRue, and I own the second book because I found it at a thrift store in my hometown. I've been trying to find the first one on Pango, and I have not had success yet. And I know that she said it was going to be a trilogy, but on Goodreads it says it's a duology. We're going to stick with what this says. Then we have For the Sake Of by Judith Sonnet, and this is my only extreme horror books that I have on here, and she's going to have a third one, so I gotta read it. Then we have Deanna Madden, which is The Girl in 6E by A.R. Torre. Haley swears by this book, so I'm definitely going to give it a try. We have the Dreamland Billionaires trilogy with the fine print, and Neva has told me that I need to read it soon for a vlog of hers where she chooses my favorite books, and my friends are all reading it currently and they're enjoying it, so I should probably give it a whirl. Then we have Supernatural Investigations by with Amari and the Night Brothers. I loved the first book. I'm definitely continuing on with this series. Same thing for Crescent City. I read House of Earth and Blood and loved it. I have not read House of Sky and Breath yet. Yes, I know. What am I doing with my life? I don't know. I need to read it soon, though, before the third one comes out in January. Then we have the Alex Stern series with Ninth House, and I own Ninth House and Hellbent, and I do want to read them at some point. I'm not DNFing that, nor am I DNFing The Roots of Chaos, which is Priory of the Orange Tree, because I do want to read that one day, even though it's like 800 pages and it's all about dragons. What else do you need? Then we have the Influencer series by Amy Lee, which includes Set on You and X's and O's, and I'm just going to go ahead and DNF that because at this current moment I have no interest in reading Set on You, even though I own it, and I should just sell it. Then we have Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. Like I said, I'm interested in reading that series, but I want to read Caraval first, so I need to get on that ASAP. We also have Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco, and I do own the first one. I do want to read this series. I've heard mixed opinions on it, but I'll just have to decide for myself. Then we have the Aisling Sea, which includes On These Back Sands, and I do own the first one, and I am liking it. I'm reading it currently, and so I definitely want to continue on with this series. Then we have the Fae Isles for A Court of Blood and Bindings, which I have heard numerous things from Honest Fiction about this, and so that's why I picked it up, honestly. And I'm currently in the middle of this book as well, and I'm loving it, so I'm going to continue on with this series as well. Then we have the Windy City series by Liz Tomford with Mile High. I have seen that book for a hot minute, and so I finally got it, and I can't wait to read it. And then with New Camelot series by Sierra Simone, it starts with American Queen. I got that on sale on Kindle a while back, and so I definitely want to commit to that sooner than later. And then let's finish off with some duologies. We have the Six of Crows series by Leigh Bardugo. I am going to read that at some point. I am, okay? Same for The King of Scars and Rule of Wolves. That's why that's on here. Then we have These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. And I feel like I wanted to read it at some point because it was like a Shanghai Romeo and Juliet retelling. But it's just not speaking to me in this exact moment. So I think I'm going to take it off. Then we have The Ravens. That's like a fun little YA duology. I do want to read that still. We have The Bellinger Sisters. It happened one summer and Hook, Line, and Sinker. Definitely I finished that. Then we have It Ends With Us. And I do own It Starts With Us. And I've just been afraid to read it. I know. Not a good excuse. Then we have the Wildflower series by Macaulay Smeltzer with The Confidence of Wallflowers and Resurrection. And I only own the second one because, like I said, I found it at a thrift store. But I do want to read that series. Then we have Legendborn by Tracy Dion. And yes, I own both. And yes, I'm going to read them. And no, I don't know when. Same for Strange the Dreamer. I own the first one. But it is an arc that I got from a thrift store. So I might toss it and try reading it again later. But I'm not going to DNF it at this moment. And then we have Clown in the Cornfield. That's just very much a campy horror novel. And so I'm going to read that in Halloween time for sure. Then we have The Sinner's Duet by Sophie Lark. I love Sophie Lark. I'm not getting rid of her stuff. I'm also not getting rid of the Cat and Mouse Duet with Haunting Adeline and Hunting Adeline because I've been wanting to read that so very bad, I still need to buy the second one. Then we have Gods and Monsters, which starts with the Book of Azrael. I am not getting rid of that. I've been wanting to read that for a hot minute. I need to prioritize it. Can you hint a pattern here? We have the Jurassic Park series. I'm currently reading Jurassic Park for a vlog, and I am loving it. And yes, I know, if you're listening to this and you realize I haven't read Jurassic Park yet and I'm a fan, just don't come at me. Then we have All of Us Villains. I own the first one. I do want to read it. If I don't like it, I'm not going to buy the second one because it is a YA series. Then we have Middle Game by Seanan McGuire. I only own the first one. I've heard the second one's not even that good. But I do want to read the first one. And I think I am in July. Then we have Tricky Magic by L.L. Campbell. I do own the first one. I do want to buy the second one. I started reading it and I was enjoying it, so I should continue on with it. Then we have the Auntie series, Dial A for Aunties and 4 Aunties in a Wedding. I'm not going to DNF the series, but I am going to DNF the second one. The only reason I'm reading the first one, I would have DNF'd the whole series because I'm not that interested anymore, is because I actually have to read it for a vlog coming up. So it's going to stay on here for now. Then we have the Pies Before Guys series with the Magic, Lies, and Deadly Pies. I borrowed that from the library, but I absolutely loved that book, so I do want to continue on with this series. We have The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell. I do want to read that series at some point. Same thing for the Andrea Oliver series by Karen Slaughter, which starts with Pieces of Her. I do want to read that at some point. I've heard the movie is not good, or the show's not good, and I've also heard that Girl Forgotten is awful. Then we have the Loveless series by Hannah Bird, one of my friends on Instagram, and I just finished her second book. It released today, actually. Well, tomorrow. No, yesterday. Sorry, yesterday when you see this video. Very glad I read that. Then we have the Rachel Crawl series, which includes The Night Swim. They're actually releasing a sequel to The Night Swim recently that I discovered. And then, same thing, not for Rachel Crawl. This is, I don't know what it's called, but I'm going to put it Legends of Monte. I need to look up what that series is actually called. But they are creating a prequel called Bookshops and Bone Dust, and I do need to read that. Then we have the Part of Your World series by Abby Jimenez. I do own Part of Your World. I don't own Yours Truly because I didn't want the Book of the Month edition because it's hardcover, and I wanted to get paperback to match my Part of Your World one. And then we have the Coven of Bones series. I just read The Coven for Smut Den. Absolutely loved it. I plan on reading The Cursed next. I'm very excited. And then I have graphic novels. I've started reading Heartstopper. I own the first book of Spy Family, and that's it. And then these are some series that I have some of that I'm not sure if I want to read. Like Practical Magic. Honestly, I don't feel like reading that, so I'm going to DNF that. Red Rising, I own the first book, and I think I'm going to keep it and try it. And if I don't like it, I'm going to get rid of it. Because I heard it's dystopian, which means there's no magic. It's just a crappy world. And do I want to read a book with no magic? I don't know. And then we have the entire Ice Planet Barbarian series. And I do need to read this at some point, because my friends are all reading it, and they do reading sprints every month, or every other month for this series. And I think they're on, like, book 8. So I need to catch up indefinitely. But I'm going to keep it over here, because I don't want to keep it on one of these lists. But let's go to the end of this now and see how many series I knocked off. And that is it. So we started with 120 series and I knocked off 9. And so I am now at 111 series. And that is still a lot. That's still a lot. So like I said, I think I'm going to start a video or two where I read first books from series so that I can start knocking them out and seeing if they are for me or not. I'm also going to be doing series wipeouts, which is what I'm doing right now with the Ravenhood series by Kate Stewart. I'm going to do that with the, I think, Chestnut Spring series. I have series in mind. Oh, Magnolia Parks. Like, I have series in mind I want to do these series wipeouts with, but I just haven't gotten there yet. So there's that. Okay, but anyway, let me know down below in the comments if there's any of those series that I should prioritize sooner than later. Like, whichever couple that people say in the comments are probably the ones that I will prioritize sooner or later. So if there's one that spoke to your heart, please put it down below. If there's one that you're like, oh girl, you need to get rid of that, like, give me the tea, let me know, and I will get rid of it, probably, because I have too many books on these shelves, as you can tell. I just love collecting books. But anyway, that is it for this video, and I hope that you had fun with it, and I will see you guys in another video soon. Bye!